Kofi lay lifeless on his bed, still and silent. The room was thick with deceit and triumph. Not Kofi, but Zara, his wife of 3 years. She stood by the mirror, her phone on speaker, smiling like she just won a lottery. Yes, Mama, the fool is finally dead, she said. Our mother's voice was raspy but filled with satisfaction. Eh, so quick. I told you Malik is a powerful Babalawo. The man knows his work. Zara chuckled. Yes, so Mama. It worked like magic. Good. Now listen carefully. The mother continued. Gather all the documents to the houses, cars, bank accounts, and anything you can think of. Make sure you don't miss anything. I know where he keeps them. Mama, Zara replied confidently, I will. Perfect. After that, start crying and call all the neighbors. I'm on my way. I will, Mama. The room was eerily silent, save for Zara's excited whispers and the sound of papers rustling as she searched Kofi's drawers. A lone clock ticked rhythmically, each sound marking Kofi's growing disbelief, because he wasn't as dead as they thought. No, he was very much alive, lying perfectly still, pretending to be a corpse. Why? Because he needed to hear everything. Zara, the woman he loved and sacrificed for, had conspired with her mother to kill him. But that's not even the worst part. What Kofi discovered next would shatter his heart into a million pieces. Let me take you back to how it all began. Kofi was an early riser, a hard-working man who built his life from the ground up. He loved Zara deeply. This was the same woman he sent to the university, the same woman he sent to the university, the same woman he sponsored for a master's degree in France. He gave her everything, but something changed the day before his supposed death. That evening, Kofi returned home earlier than usual, hoping to surprise his wife. But as he approached the bedroom, he heard her talking on the phone. Her voice was low. He paused at the door and listened. Mama? Are you sure this thing will work? Her mother's reply was firm. Trust me, Zara. Once you add the powder to his juice, he will die. Malik has never failed before. Zara laughed softly. I can't wait for this man to die. I want my freedom, Mama. I want to live my life. He will die tomorrow. Her mother reassured. Just follow the plan. Make sure he drinks it. I will, Mama. Kofi's blood ran cold. His wife, the love of his life, was planning to kill him. But Kofi was no fool. He tiptoed away, his heart pounding. If Zara wants me dead, I will give her exactly what she wants, but on my own terms, he said. The next day, Kofi woke up early, pretending everything was fine. Zara greeted him warmly, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Good morning, my love, she said, her voice unusually cheerful. Kofi smiled back. Good morning, my dear. You're looking extra beautiful today. Oh, thank you, she said, blushing. Kofi left for work, but returned home in the afternoon, just as he had planned. She welcomed him with open arms and even prepared his favorite drink, the mango juice. You look tired, she said, handing him the glass. Drink this. It will help you relax. Kofi took the glass and smiled before taking a sip. He stopped her. Zara, please get my briefcase from the car. I need to show you something very important. She hesitated but eventually left to fetch it. The moment she stepped out, Kofi poured the poison juice into the sink and replaced it with fresh juice. When Zara returned, He drank it all in one go. How do you feel? She asked, trying to hide her eagerness. A little tired, Kofi replied, clutching his stomach dramatically. Moments later, he collapsed on the floor, pretending to be in pain. Honey, honey, what's wrong? Zara cried, rushing to his side. Take me to the bed, Kofi whispered weakly. Quickly, she helped him to the bed, laid him down, and watched as he faked his death. Kofi foamed at the mouth and went completely still. Now, back to where we started. Zara, confident that Kofi was dead, began gathering all the documents, property deeds, bank statements, and everything she could lay her hands on. She packed them into a bag and returned to the mirror to admire herself. Zara, you're very smart, she said to herself. But then she did something that shocked Kofi to his core. She made a call. Hello, Zara said sweetly. My love, a man's voice replied. Is it done? Yes, my darling. The fool is dead. Finally, we can be together. Yes, baby. Zara paused. Come quickly. I've already started crying. The neighbors will gather soon. Kofi's heart broke all over again. His wife and his best friend. The betrayal ran deeper than he ever imagined. As Zara left the room, wailing dramatically to alert the neighbors, Kofi sprang into action. He quickly took his phone, which Zara had kept beside the bed, and called Kwam, who was his flatmate and also a friend. Luckily for Kofi, Kwame was at home at the moment. He gave him a hint of what was happening. There's no time to explain everything now. I'll throw the briefcase down from the window through the back door. Please come and get it quickly, and please keep it safe. Call my mom and explain everything I have told you to her. Tell her to play along because I know my wife will soon call her to tell her that I'm dead. Tell her to explain everything to everyone in the family and that she should come and get my body. When he was done talking to Kwame, he went back and laid lifeless as though he was dead. Some of the neighbors came and sympathized with her. Some asked how he died, and Zara said he came back early from the office and was shouting, my stomach, and he said I should help him to the bed, which I did, and then the next thing, he stopped breathing. She continued crying. When the neighbors had gone, she went back to the mirror, admiring herself. Zara, you're smart. Now you will not only be free, but also very rich. Zara had never loved Kofi. Rather, she loved his money. She loved the idea of Kofi's love for her. She knew he was a good man and genuinely loved her, but she was a very greedy woman who always wanted to reap in a place where she didn't sow. Just like her mother, she wanted a soft, big girl life, but she never wanted to work for it. It was quite unfortunate that a good man such as Kofi was the scapegoat. Mama and Zara arrived. They were really excited. Everything was going as planned. What next? Zara asked. Or should we just go ahead and bury him? No. Now, what will you tell your husband's family? We have to make it look natural. It was poison from work. Maintain what you already told the neighbors, Mama said. Sounds good, Zara added. Mama continued, you will call his mother and tell her what had happened so they can take him to the mortuary. By the time they do an autopsy, they will discover that it was poison, so they will believe your story about coming home early with a severe stomach pain. They wouldn't know you were the one that poisoned him. They were really happy, too happy to remember the briefcase. Zara had told them earlier that it was safe. All they wanted was to get rid of Kofi's body, just as planned. Zara called Kofi's mother, wailing and crying. Mama, Kofi, Kofi. Yes, what about Kofi? Kofi's mom asked. Mama, Kofi is dead. What? How? When? Where is he right now? Mama, he is at home, she responded. My son cannot die, she added. Mama, he came home earlier than usual crying, my stomach, and he asked me to help him to the bed so he could rest, which I did. After a while, he stopped talking. I tried to revive him, but Mama, my husband is gone. It's okay, my dear. I'm coming right away. My son cannot die. After about 2 hours, Kofi's mother and family members arrived. Zara's crying intensified. The mother, who was already aware of what was going on, went to sit beside Kofi and cried as though she didn't know what was going on. Kofi opened his eyes and told his mother about a camera he had planted somewhere in the house. She should get it and take him out, telling them she was taking him to the mortuary. Then he closed his eyes again. His mother did as he had said and took the body to the mortuary. Supposedly, they went straight to a hotel from there, as instructed by Kofi. He didn't want anyone to see him. When they arrived at the hotel, Kofi explained everything to his family, how he heard everything, and played dead just to get more information. They were all surprised. They didn't believe their beloved daughter-in-law would be that wicked. Meanwhile, back at Kofi's house, there was a huge celebration while awaiting the decision of the family regarding the body. On the third day after Kofi's supposed death, Mama called Zara. Please go and check that briefcase and let's be sure that it's safe. I don't want to hear any stories. Oh, Mama, don't worry. I know my house better than anyone else. No one can find the place where I kept it, except my husband. But since he is dead, no one can. I understand. Please go and check it. I don't have a good feeling. Okay, Mama, I will. To her greatest shock, when she checked the place where she had kept the briefcase, it wasn't there. Zara started sweating profusely. She didn't know what to tell her mom top of form. I'm finished. I killed my husband for nothing. She immediately called her mother. Mama, I can't find the briefcase. Zara, you can't find. You must be joking, right? You must be joking, right? Zara, you have killed me. How can you be so careless? I'm on my way. By the way, have you called him? Okay, no, Mama, she answered. Call him now. Okay, Mama. She replied and dropped the call. Immediately, she called Kwame. Please come to the house now. There's fire on the mountain. A few moments later, Kwame and Mama Naa arrived. While Zara was trying to explain how she couldn't find the briefcase, her phone rang. She frowned, pulling it out of her bag. The number was unknown, but she answered it anyway. Hello. Hello, Zara, a familiar voice said. Her heart stopped. It was Kofi's voice. Zara froze, her eyes wide. Who is this? The voice chuckled. Don't you recognize your husband's voice? Don't you recognize your husband's voice? Don't worry, Zara. I'll see you soon. The line went dead. Zara dropped the phone like it was on fire. What is it? What happened? I don't know, Zara stammered. It's not possible. It can't be. It can't what? Nonsense. What are you talking about? Mama asked. Quaim stepped in. Calm down, Zara. It's probably a prank. Ignore it. But Zara couldn't ignore it. She started sweating, her mind racing. She knew Kofi's voice, it was him. But how? That evening, Zara, Mama Naya, and Kwame gathered in the living room. The three conspirators were on edge. You need to relax, Quaim said. There's no way Kofi would be alive. You saw him die with your own eyes, didn't you? Mama nodded. Exactly. And we followed Kofi's instructions perfectly. Maybe it's someone trying to scare you, Quaim added. Zara shook her head. You don't understand. I know his voice, it was him. While they were still discussing, Kofi's mom called Zara and told her that they were going to bury him the next day. There's no need to keep his body. My son is gone already. Let's at least lay him to rest. Zara was relieved, but she was still worried about the voice she heard. She was certain it was Kofi's voice. At least you can rest now from your worry. He's gone, and all we should be concerned about now is how to get the briefcase. Quaim added. On the day of the burial ceremony, Zara continued a pretentious cry. Oh, my husband, you are such a good man. Why did you leave me so early? I couldn't even give you a child. She had aborted over 5 of Koki's children because she didn't want to have any kids for him. Since she had Mama shouted even more. Oh, my kind and caring son-in-law. Why did you do this to me? Quaim added. You were indeed my best friend, who was more like a brother to me. I will never forget you, my friend. Rest on, my friend. Kofi's family was so irritated by their pretense, but they continued to play along. As a pastor was about to preach, they heard sirens, very loud, approaching the event center. Everyone wondered who was coming. Some felt it was Kofi's wealthy friend, or a politician who was coming to pay their last respect to Kofi before he would be buried. The car stopped. Everyone came out. Shockingly, Kofi walked out, dressed in complete black from head to toe. Everyone who knew him took to their heels, screaming, Ghost! 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 Zara froze, speechless. She couldn't run or cry. Her head was spinning. The pastor called out, Please come back. It is not a ghost. It is real. It is real. It is flesh and blood, just like you. They wondered, but managed to return back to the event center. Kofi narrated everything that happened, and the crowd was surprised. What an evil woman you are, Zara. Someone whispered. But your mom is even more evil and dangerous. While they were still in shock, the police came in. Kofi pointed at them. These are the evil people who tried to kill me. If not for the mercy of God, I would have been a dead man by now. Officer, arrest them. Kofi had already made an entry in the police station earlier and had already shown them the evidence. Zara fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. Kofi, please, I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me, she pleaded. Save it. I snapped. I loved you, Zara. I gave you everything. And this is how you repay me. You deserve everything that is coming to you. Zara, Quam, and Mama Naya were arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit murder and were sentenced to several years in prison. Kofi watched as the police bundled Zara, Quam, and Mama Naya into their van. They screamed, pleaded, and protested, but there was no escaping the weight of their crime. The evidence was overwhelming. The video recordings, the poison tests, and the confession from Malik and the Babalawo, who had been arrested earlier. The neighbors, who had gathered to witness the commotion, whispered amongst themselves, "How could such a beautiful woman be so wicked? How could she betray the man who loved her so much?" As the van drove away, Kofi stood, his heart heavy but relieved. Justice had been served, but the scar of betrayal would take time to heal. Zara, stripped of her beauty and pride, spent her days reflecting on her choices. She wrote Kofi letters from prison, begging for forgiveness, but he never replied. He had forgiven her in his heart, but he knew better than to let her back into his life. Kwame, once Kofi's best friend, faced the harsh realities of prison life. He too was consumed by regret. Mama Naya, however, remained defiant, blaming everyone but herself for her downfall. Kofi learned to be cautious, and he realized that love, while beautiful, must be accompanied by wisdom. Trust should be earned and not blindly given. Moral lessons. Be careful who you trust. Not everyone who smiles at you has good intentions. Even the people closest to you, friends, family, or a spouse, can betray you. Always be observant and trust actions more than words. Kofi loved Zara deeply, but she allowed greed and selfishness to destroy a bond. Love should never be about what you can gain, it should be about mutual respect, sacrifice, and care. What you sow, you will reap. Zara and her conspirators planned evil, but in the end, they faced the consequences of their actions. Life has a way of balancing the scales. Love is good, but love with wisdom is better. Take your time to know who you are with. Kofi's blind trust in Zara led to heartbreak. Let love be guided by wisdom and discernment. God bless you. Trust is a gift that should be given wisely, for even those closest to us can betray our hearts. Kofi's story teaches us the power of resilience, the importance of discernment, and the ultimate triumph of truth over deceit. Let this be a reminder to value love built on respect and honesty, not selfish gain. Always watch actions more than words, and let wisdom guide your heart. Stay tuned for more stories that inspire, caution, and remind us of life's valuable lessons. Thank you for watching my channel. Stay tuned for more inspiring stories and valuable life lessons. In a very beautiful city called Avalon, known for its cobbled streets lined with lush, blooming flowers and a market square bustling with colors and scents, there lived a very young and beautiful lady named Zara, who recently moved to Avalon City. She rented a charming apartment with a balcony overlooking the tranquil Avon River, which became her favorite place to sit and sip her morning tea. Zara was admired by many bachelors who wanted to marry her, but strangely, Zara had no interest in bachelors, no matter how rich they may be. She was only interested in happily married rich men, and she prided herself on the number of homes she had broken. Zara had no remorse, and whenever the wives of the men she slept with approached her, Zara would bluntly rebuke and ridicule them. "Don't talk to me," she would say, her voice cold and dismissive. "Walk on your body, no man wants an ugly thing for a wife." Her words cut deep, often spoken in crowded places like the bustling market or the local cafe, making the wives' humiliation public and unbearable. Some of the women would go on their knees, pleading with Zara to stay away from their husbands for the peace of their home. But Zara would ridicule them, often laughing cruelly, and leave them in pain. Zara took pride in breaking happy homes and destroying happy families. In less than 6 months after Zara moved to Avalon City, She became well known by everyone as a homebreaker. The whispers about her could be heard in the market, during evening gatherings at the central square, and even at church services where concerned wives prayed for protection. However, it didn't stop other married men from falling into her trap. She was very beautiful and seductive. No man could resist her touch. Every married woman in Avalon City was scared for their marriages because they did everything they could to ensure their husbands did not fall into Zara's grip. She was equally a very good cook. Her meals were rumored to be irresistibly delicious, and she knew how to create an atmosphere of intimacy that drew men in. Her small but lavishly decorated apartment, always smelling of exotic spices and scented candles, became a haven for those who were lured into her web. Some even rumored her to be very diabolical, but they were wrong. She was just very skilled in the art of seduction. One day, as Zara was on her way to the market, she admired the quaint streets of Avalon, with their colorful storefronts and vendors who greeted her with polite smiles, though most whispered about her the moment she passed. On her way, she saw a very expensive SUV for the first time since she arrived in Avalon City. The car parked a few meters from her in front of a supermarket, and a very handsome man called Kobe alighted from the SUV with a beautiful lady called Mira, who she assumed to be his wife. Zara was mesmerized by how happy and delightful Kobe was with Mira. The way he opened the door for her, his gentle touch on her back, and the smile that reached his eyes, all of it drew Zara in. Instantly, she made up her mind to break up his home. She quickly walked into the supermarket and approached him. "Hi, I am Zara." She introduced herself to Kobe when she noticed his wife was far from him, browsing through some shelves. But unlike other men who would be captivated by her beauty, Kobe appeared to not be moved at all. It seemed as though Kobe didn't know who she was. "How may I help you?" Kobe asked her with his straight face, his voice calm but firm. Zara relied on her beauty to captivate Kobe's heart, so she was dumbfounded when Kobe wasn't moved at all by her appearance. She watched in surprise as Kobe walked out on her when she failed to give him an answer. After she had finished buying what she wanted to buy, she coincidentally met Kobe at the cashier to pay. To her surprise once again, Kobe asked the cashier to put all her bills on him. Then he left before Zara could say thank you. When Zara got home, she couldn't stop thinking about Kobe and what she experienced with him. She felt inferior and her ego was bruised, so she decided deep within her that she would do whatever it takes to compel Kobe to fall in love with her and lure him into her bed. Perhaps when he experiences my sexual powers and cooking skills, he would come begging on his knees like a dog, Zara said to herself, her voice echoing in her empty apartment, which suddenly seemed colder and less comforting. Zara started stalking Kobe, trying to get as much information on him as she could. But Kobe was like a ghost. She was told that he recently moved into Avalon City with his wife Mira, and no one knew anything about him or his wife. However, Zara was told that Kobe was very wealthy beyond anyone's imagination, but Mira was yet to give him a child after almost a decade of marriage. Despite this, Kobe was known to be very faithful to his wife, and people claimed that it was impossible for him to cheat on his wife Mira. This revelation kicked Zara's interest in him even more. She saw him as a challenge to be conquered and became even more determined to break his home. She told herself that if she could get pregnant for Kobe, she could compel him to divorce his wife because she was barren. The next day, Zara tracked Kobe to his office. She booked an appointment as a client, but when she entered his office, Zara locked the door behind her and boldly went to sit on Kobe's lap. Ever since the day I saw you at the supermarket, I couldn't take my mind off you. I love you, Kobe. I am ready to give you my body and my heart. All I ask is that you belong to me. Kobe looked at her, his expression unreadable. But I am married, and I cannot leave my wife. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you have a wife. I'm not asking you to marry me. All I'm asking for is for you to allow me to share you with her. Zara's eyes glistened with determination as she spoke. Kobe smiled at her bold statement. If that's what you want, then there's no problem, Kobe replied and embraced Zara passionately. Afterwards, they exchanged contacts, and Zara went home feeling so happy and victorious. She felt she had finally captured Kobe's heart, but little did she know that she was the prey, and Kobe was the predator. Kobe would often take Zara to very expensive and luxurious places. He spoiled her with gifts and expensive jewelry. He funded her flamboyant and extravagant lifestyle, and she started getting addicted to an expensive lifestyle. Zara felt she had won Kobe's heart, but unlike other women who would often go to confront her, beg her, or go as far as threatening her to leave their husbands, Mira was very calm and peaceful. Oftentimes, Mira would see her husband with Zara, but she wouldn't say a word. She would simply smile, her eyes serene, and walk away. This strange personality of Mira bothered Zara deeply. She derived joy knowing she had conquered a woman's husband, but in Kobe's case, she didn't feel victorious because Mira wasn't bothered by the relationship she had with Kobe. However, Zara enjoyed the treatment which Kobe often gave her, so she ignored the red flags and continued relishing the moment with Kobe. She would flaunt her gifts and new clothes around Avalon, showing off at the market square and boasting to anyone who would listen. Zara believed that once she got pregnant for Kobe, he would leave Mira forever. But after 2 months of her relationship with Kobe, she found it very odd that Kobe refused to sleep with her, despite how seductive and tempting she was. Oftentimes, she had tried to seduce Kobe or get him drunk, but all her tactics to lure him into her bed proved abortive. This deeply bothered Zara a lot, and she started to think Kobe wasn't man enough. Until one day, Kobe informed Zara that his birthday was coming up the following week, and he wanted to celebrate it in a grand way. He invited Zara to one of his houses, one that she had never been to. On that, Kobe sent her a beautiful red gown and instructed her to wear it when she was coming for the party. Zara did as she was instructed and wore the red gown to the party, but when she got there, she was unable to recognize anyone. All the faces were new faces in Avalon City, and they all wore very expensive clothing and came in luxurious cars. The air was filled with the scent of rare perfumes, and laughter echoed through the grand hall. Zara was still puzzled when Kobe grabbed her hand and called for everyone's attention. "Ladies and gentlemen, please meet the most beautiful woman in Avalon City. She is the reason for this celebration," Kobe said. Everyone clapped massively with cheerful smiles. The introduction made Zara so happy she felt it was a birthday celebration, but unknown to her, it was the night of her doom. Kobe took Zara into one of the rooms inside the beautiful mansion. He gave her a wine which he had previously laced with a sleeping pill. Before they entered the room, unsuspecting, Zara drank the wine because she trusted Kobe, and gradually she started feeling dizzy, until she fell it feeling dizzy until she fell asleep. Kobe carefully removed her gown and kept her gently on the bed. Zara was asleep, but her eyes opened slowly in intervals. While she was struggling with her consciousness, she saw Mira, Kobe's wife, walk into the room. Mira turned into a very big cobra and slept with her while Kobe stood and watched. Zara was very weak from the wine that she took, so she couldn't move her limbs. As she witnessed these things, she drifted off into a deep sleep. When she woke up the following morning, she saw Kobe lying beside her. "Good morning, my love." Kobe smiled at her and kissed her forehead. "Last night was crazy. You were so good." Kobe lied to her. Zara recalled the event she witnessed the previous night, but she dismissed it and convinced herself that it must be a dream. She assumed that Kobe had slept with her because he was lying beside her. Kobe dropped Zara home a few hours later and gave her a lot of money, as usual, to spoil herself with. Then he drove off. Ever since that day, Kobe stopped answering her calls or replying to her text messages. Zara was confused because she couldn't remember offending Kobe. She also noticed that all the men who admired her in the past stopped approaching her, unknown to her that Kobe and his wife Mira had stolen her womb and beauty to renew their womb and beauty, to renew their wealth. Kobe was a ritualist, and his wife was in on it. After trying several times to reach out to Kobe without success, she decided to go to the village where she came from to see her mother. Zara's mother was a single mother. She was named Lillian. When she was just a teenager, she was forced to live with her aunt in the city. However, her aunt's husband was infatuated by her beauty and raped Lillian, which led to her pregnancy. Sadly, no one believed Lillian when she told them her aunt's husband was responsible for her pregnancy. She was evicted from her aunt's house, and she carried the baby and suffered all by herself. When she finally gave birth to her baby Zara, she was beautiful and exceptional, but Lillian still bore anger and hate in her heart towards her aunt's husband. And so she trained her daughter wrongly, corrupting her mind with evil thoughts, that all happily married men were monsters. Zara grew up with this mindset, and that was why she dedicated her life to destroying happily married homes to show the world that men were all the same. After Zara met her mother, she explained all that transpired with Kobe. Her mother decided to take her to a very powerful wizard to reveal what truly happened. When they visited the wizard, he made some incantations and revealed to Zara that Kobe wasn't an ordinary man. The powerful wizard said to them, Kobe was a very poor, wretched man when he met Mira. Mira is the daughter of the river goddess. For Kobe to become rich, he made a covenant with the river goddess in order to be wealthy. The river goddess gave him 3 conditions. Kobe had to marry her daughter. He must never sleep with any woman, and every year he had to provide a young woman's womb and beauty by allowing her daughter to sleep with the young woman. Zara was shocked at what the wizard said. She suddenly realized why Mira wasn't moved by her tantrums. Zara went on her knees and pleaded with the wizard to help her. The wizard faced his deity once again and made some incantations. Then he revealed to Zara that the only way to get back her womb and beauty was to kill Mira, the daughter of the river goddess. Zara became confused, and she wondered how it was possible to kill the daughter of the river goddess. But she's a spiritual being, while I am just an ordinary human, Zara complained. "This is all I can do for you. You would have to figure out the rest by yourself," the wizard replied. Zara and her mother thanked the powerful wizard and went back home. However, Zara couldn't sleep that night. She stayed up all night thinking about a way to kill Mira, Kobe's wife. The next day, Zara came up with a plan. She was fortunate to find a young, gorgeous lady called Fiona. After some days, Zara told Fiona her story and what Kobe did to her. Then she promised Fiona a lot of money if she could seduce and entice Kobe to use her for his next sacrifice. Fiona felt really scared, but the money Zara promised her was so much that she couldn't refuse. Together, they planned that Fiona would go to the party when invited, but she must not take the drink which Kobe would offer her. A few weeks later, Fiona relocated to Avalon City just as planned. No one knew her or where she came from, and in a short while, she caught the attention of all the men in Avalon City, but she refused all their advances. Her ultimate goal was Kobe, and it didn't take long before Kobe noticed her. She pretended to be enticed by his wealth and played along just as Zara instructed her. When it was the same time of the year, Kobe invited Fiona to his birthday party, just like he invited Zara. But Fiona knew better and also knew what to expect. She wore the gown which Kobe sent, and after he introduced her to his guests, just as he introduced Zara, he led her quietly into the same room, like a sheep to the slaughter. However, when Kobe offered her the wine, she pretended to drink it. Meanwhile, she poured it under the bed. After some minutes, she pretended to be dizzy and lay on the bed. Kobe quickly removed her clothes and placed her on the bed. Some minutes later, Mira entered the room. Kobe changed into a red robe and began chanting some incantations. Fiona lay still until Mira turned into a snake and slithered towards her on the bed. Fiona quickly jolted up and grabbed the snake by the head, giving Kobe the fright of his life. He became confused and didn't know what to do. He watched on as Fiona grabbed the bottle of wine beside the bed, broke it, and stabbed the snake multiple times on its head. The snake let out a loud cry and started changing into Mira once again. With each stab she gave the snake, she could see Kobe experiencing a similar intense pain in a part of his body, making him unable to defend Mira. Fiona didn't stop. She continued attacking the snake as it transformed back into Mira until all that was left was Mira in a pool of blood. Fiona quickly washed herself and sneaked out of the room back into the party. It was when the house cleaner entered the room that she raised an alarm after seeing the corpses of Kobe and Mira. The other guests, who were accomplices in his crimes, scampered for their safety before the police arrived. However, when they entered the room, Mira's corpse was missing. Zara got her womb and beauty back, and the wombs of all the women he had stolen were returned to them. Zara paid Fiona as she promised and changed her ways. She went back to apologize to all the women she had caused pain to and pleaded for their forgiveness. Some years later, she got married to a very handsome and compassionate man and had beautiful children of her own. Her mother regretted the wrong things she taught her child, and she dedicated the rest of her life to making up for her past errors. This story reminds us that no matter how far we've strayed, it's never too late to change and make amends. Zara's journey from a homebreaker to a compassionate woman shows the power of redemption and the strength of forgiveness. We all have the capacity to grow and learn from our mistakes, and by doing so, we can bring healing not only to ourselves but also to those we've hurt. Remember, the choices we make today shape our future, and it's never too late to choose the right path.